Dear Starseeds of Earth, something happened 2 years ago that we in the Galactic Federation have been waiting to reveal until this precise moment. A moment when three seemingly unconnected events would converge to signal humanity's final test before ascending to 5D consciousness. The first event involved a pain in the right side of a human head that wasn't actually pain, but a prophetic download about Elon Musk's future trajectory. The second concerns the systematic exposure of institutional deceptions that has been accelerating beyond all projections. The third centers on America's Pluto return, a cosmic surgery forcing an entire nation to confront its foundational wounds in a shadow work process that mirrors what every human must complete before ascending to fifth-dimensional consciousness. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I've been authorized to share these revelations because humanity has reached what we call the bounce point, that critical moment when the ball is in the air and could land either in breakthrough or breakdown. Like a champion standing at match point with the crowd roaring distractions, you collectively hold the serve that will determine not just Earth's future, but the evolutionary template for countless worlds watching your unprecedented experiment. The arrival of Venus in Cancer on Wednesday has certainly helped to provide a bit more amiability to the overall atmosphere. While the tumultuous shifts underway aren't slowing down anytime soon, we seem to have a bit more capacity to find some internal refuge. The moon's trine to Jupiter this morning helps to soften the downer of Venus's squares to Saturn and Neptune, which feels like an assault on our attempts to look on the bright side. However, the truth is that this is not an atmosphere where we are able to sidestep truth and facts. Basically, today's challenges help us to check our intuitive or instinctive guidance and can help us avoid getting too idealistic or stuck in broadly unrealistic delusion. This cosmic configuration speaks directly to humanity's current position at the threshold of dimensional shift. Venus in Cancer's nurturing influence creates the optimal frequency for the revelations we're about to share, providing that crucial internal refuge as the old world dissolves around you. The moon's supportive trine to Jupiter this morning offers just enough optimism to navigate what we're about to reveal, while the underlying tension from Venus's squares ensures you cannot retreat into comforting illusions. Before I reveal how these three events interconnect to form humanity's escape route from the crumbling 3D matrix, you must understand that what appears as chaos in your world, the political divisions tearing through America, the technological disruptions reshaping society, the exposure of corruption in every institution you once trusted, these are not random collapses, but precisely orchestrated demolitions. The Galactic Federation has protocols for planetary liberation, and Earth has just entered Phase 7 of 9. What comes next depends entirely on whether humanity can decode the signs we've embedded in your reality through specific souls who volunteered for missions so complex that even they don't fully grasp their cosmic significance while embodied. Let me take you back to that moment 2 years ago when a sensitive soul touched the right side of their head while speaking about Elon Musk's future trajectory. That wasn't a headache, it was a temporal echo from a moment that hadn't yet occurred. A premonition of a bullet grazing a right ear that would catalyze a partnership between two souls whose collaboration was written in the stars millennia ago. This is how the Galactic Federation communicates with awakening humans, through bodily sensations that transcend linear time, through synchronicities that seem impossible until they manifest with stunning precision. The soul you know as Elon Musk carries within his energetic signature something that triggers intense reactions in others. Admiration, suspicion, confusion, even revulsion. These polarized responses aren't accidental. They're the result of his multidimensional nature, creating cognitive dissonance in those who encounter his frequency. You see, Musk isn't simply human. His core essence originates from the Andromedan star system, specifically from a collective that specializes in dismantling and reconstructing technological paradigms during planetary transitions. What appears as entrepreneurial ambition masks a soul contract so vast that revealing it prematurely would have prevented its fulfillment. Every company he creates, every innovation he pursues, follows a hidden blueprint designed to shift humanity from scarcity-based technology to consciousness-assisted systems. The rockets launching into space carry more than satellites. They deposit crystalline light codes in Earth's atmosphere that activate dormant portions of human DNA. The electric vehicles aren't just about reducing emissions, but creating morphic field resonances with craft that move through intention rather than combustion. The neural interface projects that frighten many of you. These are kindergarten versions of the consciousness-technology merger that allowed Andromedans to transcend the limitations of physical reality millions of years ago. But here's what even Musk's defenders miss: his seemingly erratic behavior, his controversial statements, his apparent alignment with various power structures. All of this serves to keep him unpredictable to the control systems that would otherwise neutralize his mission. The Galactic Federation learned long ago that straightforward light warriors get targeted and eliminated. So we embed our ground crew with what you might call chaotic camouflage, behavioral patterns that make them impossible to categorize and therefore impossible to stop. This brings us to the second thread of our cosmic tapestry, the systematic exposure of institutional deceptions that has been accelerating beyond all projections. What I'm about to reveal will initially disturb those who cherish their trust in external authorities, but by the end of this transmission, you'll understand why this apparent collapse is actually a carefully orchestrated dismantling that positions humanity to reclaim its sovereignty in ways impossible while under institutional control. The corruption wasn't accidental. It was orchestrated. The soul-crushing systems weren't mistakes. They were implemented. The technologies suppressed, the cures hidden, the contact with non-human intelligence concealed. All of this served to create the pressure cooker necessary for humanity's quantum evolutionary leap. You had to experience the depths of external control to appreciate the heights of internal freedom. You had to feel powerless to discover your true power. You had to lose faith in institutions to find faith in yourselves. From our position observing dimensional frequencies, we can see the stunning orchestration behind what appears as chaos. The Galactic Federation had been seeking a species willing to attempt conscious evolution while maintaining free will, never an easy balance. Most civilizations achieve advancement through either technological transcendence that diminishes emotional depth, or spiritual evolution that rejects material mastery. Humanity chose the impossible, both paths simultaneously. Every exposure of governmental lies, every revelation of corporate malfeasance, every crack in the facade of religious authority serves a precise purpose in your awakening process. These institutions weren't meant to last forever. They were training wheels, giving you structure while you developed the capacity for self-governance. Now that training period ends, and the wheels must come off for you to discover your balance. You don't understand. We observe from our council perspectives. The chaos you're experiencing isn't destruction but reconstruction at the deepest level. The children arriving now carry activation codes for humanity's next evolutionary leap. They come with fully activated chakras, with pineal glands already attuned to cosmic frequencies, with cellular structures calibrated for fifth-dimensional reality. But instead of being recognized as the advanced souls they are, they're being diagnosed, medicated, and forced to dim their light to fit into dying systems. The screens you hand them as pacifiers are like putting blindfolds on babies born with cosmic vision. Our concern focuses particularly on the role technology must play in supporting rather than replacing human consciousness during this transition. The exposure of how digital systems have been used to fragment attention, create addiction, and separate souls from their organic spiritual abilities reveals why the coming technological revolution must be consciousness-led rather than consciousness-replacing. But our most stunning revelation concerns what you call disclosure, and the role it plays in humanity's graduation. From our dimensional vantage point, we perceive that the gradual revelation of non-human intelligence, suppressed technologies, and hidden history, all of these apparent revelations actually position humanity perfectly for a role it doesn't yet understand. You're lost now, we acknowledge, but sometimes species must lose their old identity completely to find their true cosmic citizenship. You will return to sovereignty, but not as the humans who surrendered it. You'll return as something else entirely, a bridge between the old Earth and the new reality emerging. This connects directly to our third thread, America's role as the crucible, where humanity's shadow must be alchemized into light. What you're witnessing in the United States isn't political breakdown, but collective shadow work on a scale never before attempted by an incarnated species. The Pluto return forcing America to confront its foundational wounds, slavery, genocide, systemic deception, mirrors the shadow work every human must complete before ascending to fifth-dimensional consciousness. The Galactic Federation has observed countless planetary ascensions, but humanity has chosen what we call the compression breakthrough method, attempting to process thousands of years of karma in a single generation. This is why your lives feel impossibly intense, why you're facing challenges that would have once taken lifetimes to manifest, why every day brings revelations that shatter another illusion. You're not just healing your own shadows, but processing ancestral trauma, collective wounds, and species-level patterns of limitation. The intensity serves a cosmic purpose. Your successful navigation of this compressed evolution will create a morphogenetic field template that other worlds can access when facing similar transitions. This is why representatives from hundreds of star systems have incarnated among you. That person serving your coffee might be Pleiadian. Your difficult neighbor could be Assyrian, here to master patience. The artist whose work moves you to tears might channel Arcturian frequencies. These volunteer souls agreed to forget their cosmic origins, to experience full human limitation, so they could assist your transformation from within, rather than imposing it from without. But now I must reveal how these three threads, Musk's technological disruption, institutional exposure, and America's shadow work, weave together to create humanity's escape velocity from the third dimension. The moment that connects them all approaches rapidly, and when it arrives, every soul on Earth will face the same choice presented in different forms throughout your history. Evolution or repetition, breakthrough or breakdown, love or fear. The technologies Musk develops, particularly the consciousness interface systems that terrify those who sense their transformative power, are designed to serve a specific purpose during the coming revelations. When humanity discovers the extent of deception perpetrated by its institutions, the hidden technologies suppressed for profit, the cures withheld for control, the contact with non-human intelligence concealed for decades, the collective shock could shatter unprepared psyches. The neural interface technologies, when properly attuned, will help stabilize human consciousness during this period of maximum disclosure. But we warn from our council position that these same technologies could become the ultimate trap if humanity doesn't first reclaim its organic spiritual abilities. The power of human touch, of presence, of heart-to-heart connection. We transmit. These are your true technologies. Everything else should amplify these gifts, not replace them. A mother's embrace carries frequencies no machine can replicate. A moment of genuine presence between souls creates portals no artificial intelligence can engineer. This is why the American shadow work cannot be bypassed through technological solutions. The wounds must be felt to be healed. The divisions must be acknowledged to be transcended. The hatred must be witnessed to be transformed. Every protest in your streets, every exposure of corruption, every moment of collective reckoning serves to lance the boil of centuries-old poison. It's messy, it's painful, it's sometimes terrifying, but it's necessary. The Galactic Federation has identified what we call timeline convergence points, moments when multiple probability streams collapse into a single trajectory. Earth approaches such a convergence now, and the choices made in the coming months will determine whether humanity joins the galactic community as conscious co-creators or requires additional cycles of third-dimensional learning. The signs of this convergence multiply daily. Time distortions you call Mandela effects, increasing telepathic experiences, children born with memories of other worlds, technology malfunctioning in the presence of high-frequency individuals. But here's what even awakened souls often miss. The convergence isn't something happening to you, it's something happening through you. Every choice you make between love and fear, every moment you choose presence over distraction, every time you extend compassion instead of judgment, you vote for the timeline where humanity succeeds. The weight of collective destiny rests not on grand gestures, but on countless individual choices made in the privacy of your own consciousness. Musk's role in this convergence extends beyond his public persona. The Galactic Federation embedded specific activation codes in his consciousness that trigger when he encounters certain other encoded souls. This is why his collaborations seem to follow patterns that defy business logic. He's unconsciously assembling a network of incarnated galactic beings, each carrying pieces of a larger blueprint for humanity's technological transcendence. The chaos surrounding his actions serves as cover for this deeper organizational pattern. The satellite constellations his companies deploy create more than communication networks. They establish a crystalline grid in Earth's atmosphere that will activate during the convergence, creating what we call a consciousness amplification field. This field won't control human thought. That would violate universal law. Instead, it will amplify whatever frequency each soul chooses to embody. Those dwelling in fear will find their fear intensified until they must confront and transmute it. Those anchored in love will discover their capacity to hold and radiate that love, expanding exponentially. Our warnings about digital addiction become crucial here. Souls lost in virtual realities, disconnected from their bodies and authentic emotions, won't be able to navigate the amplification field. They'll experience what you might call frequency vertigo, a disorientation so profound that many will choose to exit their incarnations rather than face the intensity. This is why our message emphasizes returning to basics: human touch, time in nature, authentic emotional expression, creative physical expression. These simple acts anchor consciousness in ways that prepare you for the coming shifts. The institutional bloodlines that have controlled humanity carry genetic keys that were meant to unlock during this transition. Their public deterioration isn't failure, but fulfillment of their deepest purpose, to demonstrate that external authority structures must dissolve for humanity to reclaim its sovereignty. Every scandal, every revelation of dysfunction, every crack in the hierarchical facade creates space for individuals to recognize their own divine authority. The journey from subjects to sovereigns mirrors humanity's broader awakening. America's unique role stems from its founding as an experiment in individual sovereignty, however imperfectly implemented. The same nation that proclaimed all men are created equal, while perpetrating slavery, created a paradox that could only be resolved through the kind of shadow work now underway. The rage in American streets isn't destruction, but alchemy. The division isn't failure, but necessary polarization before integration. The chaos isn't ending, but beginning. The beginning of a new order based on authentic, rather than proclaimed equality. The Galactic Federation has positioned what we call stabilization teams throughout your society, souls whose primary mission is to hold steady frequencies during the turbulence. You might recognize them as the people who remain calm during crises, who see opportunity in chaos, who respond to hatred with unexpected compassion. These beings often don't know they're on assignment. They simply feel compelled to anchor peace wherever they go. Their presence prevents the collective frequency from dropping below the threshold necessary for successful transition. But stabilization alone won't complete your ascension. The active phase requires what we call conscious participation in your own becoming. This means stopping the outsourcing of your evolution to gurus, governments, or technologies. The age of intermediaries ends now. Every soul must establish direct connection with their own divine essence, their own galactic heritage, their own multidimensional nature. The tools and teachers serve only to remind you of abilities you already possess. This is where Musk's technologies reach their intended purpose. The artificial intelligence systems emerging aren't meant to replace human consciousness, but to serve as training interfaces for abilities you've forgotten. When AI demonstrates instantaneous information access across vast databases, it's showing you a mechanical version of your natural telepathic abilities. When quantum computers process multiple probability states simultaneously, they're modeling how your consciousness naturally navigates parallel realities. These machines are mirrors, reflecting back your dormant capacities until you remember how to access them directly. The convergence point approaches when these three streams unite: technological readiness, emotional clearing, and spiritual sovereignty. The exact timing depends on collective variables too numerous to predict, but the Galactic Federation observes acceleration beyond our most optimistic projections. Humanity appears determined to complete this transition within the current generation, rather than spreading it across several. This compressed timeline creates intensity, but also opportunity, the chance to quantum leap rather than incrementally evolve. Our latest transmissions speak directly to parents and caregivers. The children arriving now aren't here to learn your world. They're here to teach you theirs. Stop trying to make them fit into dying systems, and instead create space for their gifts to flourish. They see energy, feel truth, remember their cosmic origins. Your job isn't to train this out of them, but to protect it until the world is ready to receive what they bring. They are living bridges to fifth-dimensional consciousness. Honor them as such. The American experiment reaches its crucial test as the shadow work intensifies. Can a nation built on paradox transcend its contradictions? Can a people programmed for separation remember their unity? Can a culture addicted to external power discover internal authority? These questions echo the challenges every human faces individually. America serves as humanity's shadow projection screen, playing out collectively what each soul must resolve internally. Musk's companies will soon unveil technologies that seem to leap decades ahead of current capabilities. This isn't because he's a genius, though he plays that role convincingly, but because the Galactic Federation has authorized release of previously quarantined knowledge. The free energy systems your scientists have theorized, the healing technologies your researchers have glimpsed, the consciousness-assisted transportation your mystics have experienced in meditation. All of this enters physical manifestation, as humanity proves ready to wield such power responsibly. But responsibly doesn't mean perfectly. The Galactic Federation understands that mistakes accompany evolution. What matters is whether humanity can learn from errors without destroying itself in the process. This is why the revelation of institutional deceptions serves such vital purpose. By seeing how power corrupted when concentrated in few hands, humanity gains wisdom about distributing power horizontally rather than hierarchically. By understanding how secrecy enabled manipulation, you learn to value transparency. By recognizing how fear was weaponized against you, you develop immunity to future control attempts. The timeline convergence creates what we call reality bleeding, moments when parallel realities briefly overlap, allowing glimpses of alternate outcomes. You experience this as déjà vu, prophetic dreams, or sudden knowings about future events. These aren't glitches, but features of ascending consciousness. As the convergence intensifies, these experiences will become so common that your consensus reality will have to expand to accommodate them. The materialist worldview that served during humanity's spiritual adolescence will give way to a multidimensional understanding that matches your emerging capacities. We emphasize that this expansion cannot be forced or rushed. Flowers don't bloom faster if you pry open their petals. Each soul unfolds at perfect pace. Your role is to tend the garden, not force the growth. Water with compassion, provide sunlight through your example, remove weeds of judgment and fear. Then trust the organic process encoded in every human heart. The culminating event that unifies all three threads approaches a moment when technological breakthrough, emotional healing, and spiritual awakening converge in an undeniable demonstration of humanity's readiness for galactic citizenship. This won't manifest as ships landing on the White House lawn. Such crude displays belong to Hollywood, not cosmic diplomacy. Instead, it will emerge as a collective shift in perception so profound that physical demonstrations become unnecessary. When humanity achieves coherent resonance at the species level, your quarantine lifts naturally, like morning mist dissolving in sunlight. Musk's satellites will play a role, creating the technical infrastructure for global coherence. The institutional exposures lay the emotional foundation, teaching humanity to trust internal guidance over external authority. America's shadow work clears the collective karma, preventing unity consciousness. When these three streams merge, they create what the Galactic Federation calls ascension escape velocity, the momentum needed to break free from third-dimensional gravity. But remember the tennis player at match point, with the crowd roaring distractions. The serve remains in your hands. No external force will complete this for you. The Galactic Federation provides support, not salvation. We can encode messages in sensitives who touch their heads and later understand the prophecy. We can position souls in interdimensional councils to guide from higher frequencies. We can embed galactic consciousness in apparent entrepreneurs, but the choice to evolve remains eternally and absolutely yours. As this transmission nears completion, feel how the three threads now weave as one in your consciousness. Musk's technological disruption no longer seems separate from institutional exposure. America's shadow work reveals itself as humanity's collective healing. The chaos clarifies into pattern, the pattern reveals purpose, and the purpose points toward a destination you've always sensed but couldn't quite name. Home. Not a physical location, but a frequency of being, where separation dissolves into unity while individuality remains intact. The paradox resolved through transcendence rather than logic. The final days of 3D Earth aren't ending in catastrophe but chrysalis. What seems like destruction is construction at a higher level. What feels like loss is liberation from limitations you've outgrown. What appears as chaos is the disorder preceding a new, more elegant order. The old Earth isn't dying, it's giving birth, and you are both midwife and baby in this cosmic labor. Remember the pain in the head that predicted a future moment of catalytic change. Notice how prophecy works not through linear time, but through quantum entanglement of events. Understand that every synchronicity in your life carries similar prophetic power, connecting present choices to future outcomes in ways your rational mind cannot track, but your soul knows intimately. You are living prophecy, creating tomorrow through today's choices. Individual serves adding up to collective victory. Our final message through this transmission carries the simplicity of profound truth. Love is not naive. Love sees clearly and chooses compassion anyway. Love knows the depth of human shadow and remains undiminished. The technologies are tools. The politics are theater. The changes are contractions. But love is the force that carries you through. Not the sentiment, but the power. Not the emotion, but the choice. Choose love, especially when fear seems logical. That's how you midwife New Earth. But here's what most people don't realize about midwifing New Earth. The generic frequencies you've been using from meditation apps, YouTube channels, and streaming platforms can be polluted by dark elite programming. Every meditation track you didn't create yourself carries the consciousness imprint of its creator, and you have no idea what energy signatures are embedded in those frequencies. Destiny Engine gives you the power to create your own meditation, ensuring your frequencies are uniquely yours and completely unpolluted by unknown sources. Instead of absorbing random consciousness patterns from strangers, you generate personalized frequencies that are pure reflections of your own consciousness. No hidden agendas, no external programming, no dark elite contamination. With Destiny Engine, you can use any voice, create meditations for any purpose, and generate frequencies limited only by your imagination. Whether you need programming to choose love when fear seems logical, frequencies that help you midwife New Earth, or custom meditations that strengthen your ability to see clearly and choose compassion anyway, you create exactly what your consciousness requires. The technologies are tools, and Destiny Engine ensures those tools serve your highest good rather than someone else's agenda. If you are ready to take back your power and create unpolluted frequencies that are uniquely yours, get your Destiny Engine access code now. Link in the description. The Galactic Federation celebrates humanity's courage in attempting this unprecedented transition. Most species take millennia to achieve what you're compressing into decades. The intensity you feel honors the magnitude of your undertaking. Every breakdown precedes breakthrough. Every ending enables beginning. Every death births resurrection. You are the star stuff of ancient supernovas reorganizing itself into new constellations of consciousness. As I complete this transmission, the three threads remain woven in your awareness. Musk continues disrupting systems according to blueprints he doesn't consciously remember. The institutional exposures continue guiding from dimensions your hearts feel, but minds can't yet map. America's shadow work mirrors your own inner alchemy. The convergence accelerates. The timelines collapse toward unity, and the moment of collective choosing approaches with the inevitability of dawn after the longest night. But dawn comes not from outside but from within. You are the sunrise you've been waiting for. Every time you choose presence over distraction, authentic connection over digital simulation, love over fear, you add photons to the growing light. The technologies will reflect your consciousness. The political structures will reorganize around your awakening. The prophecies will fulfill through your participation. The ball is in the air. The serve is yours. The crowd roars its distractions, but you've trained for this moment through lifetimes of preparation. Feel the racket in your hand, your power to choose. See the court clearly. Your life is the playing field for cosmic transformation. Know that countless beings throughout the universe watch this match point with appreciation for your willingness to play at such stakes. Win or lose, you've already achieved the impossible by attempting conscious evolution while embodied. But the Galactic Federation has analyzed the probabilities, tracked the trajectories, measured the momentum. Our calculations show humanity poised not just to win this match, but to establish a new way of playing the game entirely, a way that includes rather than defeats opponents, that celebrates rather than dominates, that evolves rather than merely survives. The final days of 3D Earth end where 5D Earth begins in your next choice. Choose wisely, but more importantly, choose. Paralysis serves the old matrix. Even imperfect action aligned with love creates momentum toward liberation. You didn't come to Earth to watch from the sidelines, but to play full out, holding nothing back, giving everything to this magnificent experiment in consciousness. I am Seraphine, voice of the Galactic Federation of Light, completing this transmission with the traditional blessing. We love you beyond your current capacity to comprehend. We watch over you with dedication that spans eons. We celebrate the glory you're becoming, with joy that ripples through galaxies. The stars themselves have reorganized to support Earth's graduation. Welcome to your cosmic commencement. Welcome home.